What is going on, everyone, and welcome to RecTalk. So today, I wanted to talk about this Georgia State game, break it down a little bit. I have 3 plays keyed up to kind of break down that I thought were important for improving as a team to look at. They're all defensive plays moving into the future. Now, I did a members-only stream, so I do plan on giving my initial thoughts to a game directly after the game for members, and then I sleep on it, I put my thoughts together, I come out and do a more kind of organized, well thought out video for everyone. So some of this will be similar to that. Also, I'm planning on getting these tickets for the UNC game. If you want to do that, I'm about to go back through the emails. We're going to go heckle Collins endlessly. Probably what I'm going to end up doing is just say, hey, if you want to go, it's $150 a ticket. And then it's most likely going to be cheaper than that, which is why I set the price there. And I will just refund you whatever the difference is. So let's get into this game. So the first half of that game, I was hot. I felt like we were getting pushed around, honestly, by Georgia State. We were getting bullied. What was it, 7-3 at half? I was pretty irate. Ask anyone who was sitting around me, I just kind of didn't say anything for a while. But here's the thing. After the game, you look at everything. You cannot be upset with a team that covered a large 3-score spread and won the game. It's been going around Twitter, and it's true. Georgia Tech's like 0-3 or 0-4 against group of 5 teams in the past few years. It was nothing for Georgia Tech to get a big emotional win against a top 25 opponent and then crap the bed in the following week. For Georgia Tech to progress as a team and get better and get the national respect that we want or exposure, you've got to win consistently. You got to win big games like you did, big marquee wins in Ireland against Florida State, and then you got to come back home and take care of business against a team like Georgia State. They cover. The other thing is that Bobby Dodd, and this shocked me, was as electric as I've ever seen it. I think we had 40,000 plus there. And the whole presentation, Tech has changed the way, maybe they're watching RecTalk videos. I don't know. They were playing Welcome to Atlanta before the team came out. You had the tornado sirens for the land sharks. So if you see the DBs and defensive guys doing stuff like that, that's what that's about. I am just shocked that we had that kind of fan support and turnout for a game that Georgia Tech's favored and covers, a 3.5 score line. So kudos to Tech for that. Now I'm going to read off some stats here. And this actually surprised me some. So total yards, we basically 499 yards. So we basically had 500 yards of offense. I don't know about, I wasn't watching it on TV. It just didn't feel like that. It felt like we were fighting offensively for every yard we got. Now, we did have a bunch of shock plays, big plays. We had the big touchdown play to Malik Rutherford. You even had a bunch that were called back, like the big touchdown run. Now, I know probably a lot of people are upset with the penalties. The only thing that I'll say about that is, we get a roughing the passer against this Velux guy or whatever his name is, quarterback for them. Fine. We just have to accept we're in a era of college football where they're going to protect the quarterbacks at all costs. Fine if that's what you want to do. I can accept that. But then Haynes King takes a nasty shot to the back of his head as he's going down helmet to helmet. That's a clear targeting call that isn't called. So I think most college football fans would say, hey, whatever's going to happen with officiating, we know they're going to make mistakes, but as long as it's kind of consistent, then you kind of know what you're dealing with. Those 2 plays definitely weren't called consistently. Now, third down, they were 3 of 12. They gashed us, especially on the ground, and we're gonna look at one on the ground they gashed us for, and one on a broken coverage on that touchdown throw that was like a wheel route with the tight end coming across field. But we held them to 3 of 12 on third down, 2 of 4 on fourth. I mean, we had some big fourth down stops. The defense really, it feels like they took a step back from, I think, offensively and defensively, watching that game. I felt like they got to their spots better. Like when they were going to set up a block, they got to where they were going to block and blocked our guy and got there quicker than we did. At wide receiver, they got into their route and got to the spot they wanted to get into and got the ball there more effectively than Georgia Tech was a lot of the times in that game. And I should have let off this video with this. Shout out to Georgia State. I think they're an extraordinarily well-coached team. They basically ran Buster Faulkner's offense. They knew that they weren't going to just beat us up front and blow us off the ball. So what do? Hey, let's take Georgia Tech's pass rush away and get the ball out quick. And that's really what I'm talking about when I say they got to their spots better than we did. I thought they had an excellent game plan offensively and defensively. And I think they're going to win a good number of football games this year. So Georgia State certainly has my respect. Hell, they had it before we got into this game. Now, I know it's been brought up like, well, they had a week, a film to break down a Tech. They didn't play a game. I don't care. The thing is, you're so much more talented than Georgia State. I kind of really don't want to hear that. Like, you should just be able to line up and impose your will as Georgia Tech. And you cover the spread, 500 yards of offense, hold them to 360. So, all that's a victory for Tech, but definitely respect to Dell McGee and his players. That quarterback, let me pull this up too. Zach Gibson came in for one play, and I asked this in the members only chat. Why do you think Zach Gibson didn't get the start in that game? And everyone knew. I didn't have to tell him. Mobility. He's not able to extend a play with his legs, and in today's college football, you have to have a quarterback that can do that for the most part. It killed Florida State last week when we played them in Ireland. DJU was not able to do that either, and it was to their detriment. This kid can. Big kid. He's like 6'4", 220. He was a 3-star. I think he was a 4-star on 3. I could be wrong about that. It's interesting to see that Clemson offered him because I know I'm armchair quarterbacking, and obviously this kid's playing different talent than Clemson is, but I think Clemson would like to have this kid at quarterback. I mean, I think he's that good, but he commits to Penn State, transfers to Pitt, and then goes to Georgia State. So I show you that to say, like, that quarterback is a ball player, right? It's easy for us as Tech fans to look at that game and be like, oh, we crap the bed, kind of like, how could we let them do that to us? Realize when you're a massive favorite against a lower, I know we're all on the same level, but a non-power 4 opponent, you're going to get the best of that team most likely, right? Because it means everything to them. That's why it's so difficult to stay focused and to get ready for those games. So that's what I have to say about that. Now, Tech throws for 274 and rushes for 225. I want to say a lot more of that came in the second half, obviously, but we averaged 6.6 yards a carry. Shout out to Georgia State. They averaged 5.2. They had a really good scheme offensively for what they wanted to do. Both teams have a turnover. Now, Haynes King had a turnover. It was either on an out or a comeback route where the guy was right on his hip and slightly in front. You just don't need to throw that ball. And this is why I'm going to show the 3 plays I am, because as you move throughout the season, you're playing much better teams. Plays like that and giving up free touchdowns on defense for Georgia Tech are going to be the difference in a game. So we've got to be able to clean that up. Penalties. Tech had 8 for 72. They had 4 for 40. And a lot of those penalties took away big plays for Tech. Again, I'm never going to get in here to bitch about refs. Like, that never looks good. I'm not a referee. I have to trust. I know a lot of people were saying about the Leo thing. The thing on that play was that every flag that every official had was on the field. So I have to, I mean, they have a better view of it than I do. So I don't know. I've already said my piece about the targeting. They obviously missed that. I mean, that's not subjective. They had a turnover that killed them when the quarterback wasn't ready for the snap. They snap it. We're able to fall on it. Time of possession virtually equal. And also, I didn't know because I was not watching it on TV, but their quarterback had to go out for a play, and Gibson had to come in because Romello Height need their quarterback right in the balls. I hope that guy's okay. Let's look at some individual stats real quick. They threw a lot more than I thought they did. They threw 34 times, 19 to 34, so basically somewhere around 50%. 210 yards and a touchdown. Haynes King was very efficient. I mean, again, we don't need the interception, but 24 29, 275 yards, and 9.5 yards a throw. I'm sorry. Every time, I hate how it automatically pulls that up, and then it messes me up on my end anyway. But we had a good game. I was even surprised. I was like, man, I don't know if we had a single tackle for loss in that. We had 8. They had 5. The thing is, we had 0 sacks. And I asked this in the members only stream right after the game. How many times did their quarterback hold the ball for like more than 2.5 seconds? There's probably only 4 or 5 plays the whole game that he did that. So it's not ultra concerning to me that we didn't get a sack. We did over pursue sometimes when we did get pressure. That was somewhat a problem against Florida State too at times, but they were getting the ball out so quick. It was kind of hard to get to them anyways. That's why I just think they had a really good scheme. So let's look at some of these plays. First, this little inside run here. So this is what I'm talking about, where I just thought they had a good scheme against us. So if I remember right, we really, like, the motion kind of goes this way and the back bends it back out. But on the defensive line, we scream upfield to the short side of the field. Now, this tight end is going to come down. I think it's the tight end that comes down and cracks Josh Robinson and gets a really good block. But they're not blowing us off the ball. They're going just where we don't go. So we shift to the short side of the field. The back does a good job at coming back over, and this tight end cracks Josh Robinson, does a really good job at sealing this block off to open up the hole. Now, thank God we get a shoestring tackle with effort on that, or this would have gone for more. But yeah, I wanted to show that, just say, okay, look at that play. Keep that in mind. Where's the game clock? 13:41. So I think this is the next play. I could be wrong. Yeah, 2nd and 10. Now, instead of going kind of inside on us, they're going to go outside on us. So this tackle does a good job at reaching. What do I mean by that? Getting this block and getting your hips turned to where his butt's more toward this 40, and taking this guy out of the play. Oh, well, he goes down. He picks up the tackle. Now, here's what we got to get cleaned up. We're in a position to make a play here. LaMiles is going to whiff, and he's actually going to whiff so hard he takes Eford out of the play. And just a big run there. Getting blocked badly at the corner. And again, it's nothing against Georgia State. They should not be able to do this against you. But keep in mind the last play where they go inside. Now they just go outside. We're kind of committed inside. Guy breaks a tackle, good stiff arm on a good linebacker at Eford, and just gets outside, makes a good athletic play. Now, here's what you absolutely can't have happen. Another really well drawn up play, and again, just something that you would see Georgia Tech do. This tight end is kind of going to run a wheel route. So he's going to come up like he's blocking. This is the genius schematically with this. Looks like he's blocking. And then all he's going to do is kind of sneak up field on a wheel route. It's going to be a total blown coverage. Easy touchdown for them. See, it looks like he's just blocking down. Totally lost in the sauce. And this guy makes this throw with a ton of pressure in his face. Look. 6, I think that's 6, or is that Romello Height? Or 8, I don't know who this is. Either way, we get a ton of pressure. Guy whiffs on the block. We're just a tad late getting to him. And just a 187% blown coverage. Don't ask me where I got that number from. This right here, against teams, I mean, thinking about, let's say Miami's close. Miami's a 3-point game. Or NC State, or Notre Dame, or these opponents that should be very, very difficult. This type of thing is it will lose you those games. So you got to be able to clean that up. Now, what I will say, from what I've seen of Santucci's defense, Georgia Tech is ultra aggressive a lot of time. Now, we do a good job of switching up looks, not really disguising what we're doing and disguising who's coming. I think the back end of that sometimes is it's easy to lose a guy on the field. And if you are ultra aggressive, you do bring a ton of pressure and you don't get to the guy. A lot of times there's going to be a wide open guy down the field. So we have to clean that up. So I guess in conclusion for this video, let me pull myself back up here. I'm proud of our guys. We're obviously, to me, a better team than we are last year. Go get a big win in Ireland. Take care of business at home. Ton of fan support. Way, way, way better defense. I am worried about Syracuse. To me, Syracuse looked good. I will be at that game next week. I'll be going to New York. Puke. I'm sure I'll cut that film up soon. But either way, tonight, 8 o'clock, on Sea-Dog's channel, we'll be talking about the game there too. Probably talking just generally about the game next week. Be looking out for information on the North Carolina game if you want to go up, be a part of the high-level hecklers, and I'll talk to you guys later.